All right, family, I want to welcome you to the Do Work Podcast. The Do Work Podcast is a weekly event where we discuss all things, anything, but it comes back to one thing and one thing only. It comes back that nothing changes unless you do. Nothing changes unless you do the work. And one of the things I love to do with this platform is I encourage free speech. I encourage idea sharing. I have no problem with discussion and dialogue. But before we get started, if you haven't already, make sure you go over to Hard Work No Excuses apparel.com. Use code Do Work. Use code Do Work at Hard Work No Excuses apparel.com. And you will get a discount on your purchase. We have some awesome gear there, and I do not want you to miss out on it. All right, so let's get into it. Roe versus Wade. So man. So after all this time, this decision came out. I had to make sure I got my facts straight tonight. So went to court in 71 with this case. They made a decision in 1973. So what is this? 2022, almost 23. Am I tripping? This is like almost 50 years later, right? 50 years later. 50 years later now, and we're going backwards. I feel like there's been a lot of going backwards. We're going backwards. Roe versus Wade, we're going backwards now. And the thing that is alarming to me is that all these decisions kind of happened in the middle of the night. All right. So in the middle of the night, they were starting to vote on whether or not to overturn this. Now, I put a poll on my Instagram story, and I asked, what do you believe? And understand, we don't have to agree. And I say this a lot because we have to remember that our feelings, our opinions are not facts. And I'm about to say something, and everybody going to be mad, but y'all just have to be mad. If you are a Christian, you are against abortion for the most part. Now, I'm going to be honest. I don't know if it's in the Bible. I don't know. And if you're saying it's just thou shalt not kill, well, that's not a strong point because, we kill for different reasons, right? Okay. But in religious reasons, you are against a woman having a right to choose. That's your preference. Because if I don't share your religion, I don't share your views. Now, do I? There are so many reasons this is dangerous. I'll tell you, I have no problem sharing my personal opinion. My personal opinion is this. It's not clear cut. There are levels to it. For example, in the case of rape, if I was raped and attacked and was impregnated, I would not want to keep that child. I don't want to relive it. I don't want to look at that every day. I do not want to keep that child. Okay, that would be my perspective on that. Same thing in a situation of possibly incest, which usually an incest is kind of sucks because you never find out that it was a family member till later. But I wouldn't want to have any parts of that child. Okay. When it comes to the rights of a woman's health, it's the woman's choice. I know many mothers who have said stories about they went into labor and the doctor said to them, "You're not going to make it. If you have this baby, you're going to die." And the mother said, "Well, you know what? I'm going to have this baby. If it's my time, then it's my time." But the power in that situation is that it's the woman's choice. The last few years, I'll say the last 5 years, especially in this country, we have constantly been challenged with choice. And everybody wants you to choose what they want to choose. That's not how it works. That's not how it works at all. Yes, you're right. There are too many unwanted children roaming this earth. I agree. So if we're in a situation where a woman does not want to have a child, one, for personal reasons, and this is the thing, no matter what her reasons are, they are her reasons. No matter what her reasons are, they're her reasons. I know plenty of people who've gotten abortions that I didn't agree with it. And not because of my stance on abortion, but more because of my stance on their reason. But guess what? That's my opinion. It's personal. It's personal. So now we're in a situation where, as a country, again, we are faced with who has the right. Now, this is the thing. If the government overturns it or not, women will still get abortions. What's scary about that is we're going to go back to the back alley hanger days. And I don't know if you younger people know what that is or what that was, but there was a point clearly where abortions were not legal. And when women had to get it done, there were back alley doctors that did that, which caused a lot of women to die from abortion, get infection. So this is not, I don't know why we are constantly attacking choice. You know about it and you're a youngin'. I like that, Mac. I like that. Why are we constantly attacking choice? Again, guys, if you have questions, please put them in the boxes. I'm on a couple of things right now, but I'm going to get to them all. It's about choice. Now, please understand, the government does have a right to say, I don't want to pay for it. They can say that. The government has a right to say, you know what? We're no longer funding abortions. Now, of course, that would put disadvantaged populations in an issue because it's expensive. It's expensive, right? But if the government as a whole wants to take a stand, they can say, we're not going to fund them. If you want to get an abortion, you have to get the abortion yourself. And guess what? They would be within their right to do that. But what they're not within their right to do is tell a woman that she has to keep a child that she does not want to keep. And I'm telling you, I see your question. I'm going to get to you. I'm telling you, it does not matter her reason. Now, if it's medical 100%, it's still her choice. Again, many mothers have had to make that choice. My mother told me a story with 6 of us. I think it was child 4. One of my younger sisters, where the doctor told her she probably wasn't going to make it. And my mom said she wanted to give her baby an opportunity, but that was her choice. That was her choice. I don't ever want to lose my power to choose. I don't ever want to lose my power to choose. And right now, again, we are at this door, and I feel like we've been confronted with this just repeatedly. We've been confronted with mask. I don't care if you're anti-mask or anti-vax or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's the same concept. It's the same concept. It should be your choice. So where we get destroyed as mankind and as humans is here. Everybody thinks their choice is the right choice. I chose to get vaccinated. You choose not to get vaccinated. Well, you're wrong. You don't get to do that. I choose to keep my baby. I choose not to keep my baby. Well, you're wrong. You don't get to make that decision. You don't. I'm going to go back to some of these questions, guys. I got them right here. I'm going to go back to some of these questions. I saw a couple. I'm going back to some of these questions. Somebody said, do I believe Wait. I saw it. Do I believe in assisted suicides? Oh, that's a good question. Do I believe in assisted suicides? Do I believe that people, if they want to take their own life? Yes, I do. You know why? It's your choice. It's your choice. If you're in the hospital and they're telling you you have limited time, no options, you in pain, and you just want to go, it's your choice to go. Now, if you're a person of faith, you're like, well, you go when God says. That's true. But again, that's your belief. Why? Because you're a person of faith. Maybe the person who is making this choice to go is not a person of faith. It really goes back to choice. And I feel like I've spent the past 2 years talking a lot about this. It's not about being wishy-washy on decisions. I'm very firm in what I believe in. But this is the thing. If we don't agree, I'm still good. I still hang with you. Why? Because it's your choice. It's your choice. And that's what everybody's missing. See, I got my mic all over the place. I'm getting hyped tonight. It's your choice. Let me get to this question right here. Great question. Am I pro-life or pro-choice? I'm pro-choice. I'm pro-choice for everything. So this is where it's interesting. You can't be selective. Everybody's selective. You were pro-choice for some things and then not for others. So I'm the mask thing, and everybody knows I was big on the mask thing because I thought, I don't care. You wear it, you don't. In my business, when all this stuff went down, I told my people, if you want to wear it, wear it. If you don't, don't. But mind your business. Leave other people alone. Let people do what works best for them. I don't care about the CDC. I don't care about what you read, what you heard. Let people do what's best for them. And we thrived. I had no issues, not one. Not one person said, I'm leaving here because you're not making, vaccinations mandatory. You're not making masks mandatory. Nobody said a word. Nobody said a word. Everybody just lived their lives. And you know what we did? We got stronger and healthier together. That's what we did. Why? Because that was me being pro-choice. Do what works for you, but respect the space of others. Now, the fact that there are a group of people, and they're not all men, because we are talking about the Supreme Court, they're not all men, are sitting around making decisions in the middle of the night, like, maybe we don't want to do that anymore. I got issues with that. Like, not cool. The shit ain't cool. No bueno. I don't understand why we're pro-choice for some things and not for others. It's the same with my stance on guns. I'm a 2A person. I love my guns. I have lots of guns. I enjoy my guns. But if you don't like guns, okay. If you don't believe men, women, people, others, whatever, should bear arms, okay. I'm not mad at you. But I should have the right to have it. And you should have the right not to touch one if you don't want to. That's being pro-choice. And again, we're confronted with this space where we're in this place of we're at the door. It really is going back to freedom of speech. And people are missing it. Elon Musk just bought Twitter. My man bought the whole thing, not stock. He said, I'm going to buy the company. You know why? It's about choice. It's about power. It's about really putting things back into the hands of the people. Everybody's so, overly concerned, it's Democrat versus Republican, and it's it's blacks versus whites and Latinos, and nah, B. It is government versus the people. Because the only person that profits off of chaos is them. It's them. You're allowed to have as much choice and decision and be in as many spaces as you want to. I don't have to agree with you for being in those spaces, but I will respect you. I do have to respect you. I always do that. And this applies to everything. This applies to everything. I need It's Your Choice merch ASAP. Done. Design will be done in the morning. Design will be done in the morning. Yo, design will be done in the morning. But I really don't understand how in 2022 we're still having these discussions. Like, you don't get to tell me that. Just like I don't get to tell you things. Yes, it's your body, it's your choice. And I'm going to be honest with you. It applies to vaccine mandates and it applies to abortion. It's the same thing. Because all of a sudden now it's different for different people. When ultimately, if people had the power to choose, we wouldn't be in this situation. But like I said, the government stance should be more, if they're feeling this way, their stance should be, we're only funding one. The government is, we don't really support the idea of abortion. So look, as a country, things happen, medical emergency, we're only doing one. And if that's the stance they want to take, that's the stance they want to take. And there's nothing we can do about it. There's not a thing we can do about it. I got to get to this other side. Boom, there we go. It's not a thing we can do about it. But it really goes back to people having the power to choose. And the fact that women in 2022 have to be worried about that is crazy. I see a good question. Hold on. Let me go back. I like this. Are you an advocate for abolishing the child support system? The man should have a choice. Yo, that question is great. Am I an advocate for abolishing child support system? The man should have a choice. Well, this is the thing with that. If the man has laid with said woman, he already made his choice. He slept with her. And he chose not to use protection. They chose not to use protection, which means they were open to the idea that potentially they could have a child. So if said woman decides to keep child, said man will be paying child support. He made a choice. He did not wrap up. Hope that answers your question. I got another question in here. Because either people are bored or people are trying to be woke or see all of their above. Oh, the woke culture is overkill. That's a whole nother conversation. Don't get me started on woke culture. Because a lot of it is disingenuous. And I said what I said. A lot of it is bandwagon. I said what I said. People are woke when it's convenient. And only when it's convenient for them. A lot of people. So if you're one of those people and you feel offended, that means you just woke when it's convenient. Please stop. You're ruining things. All right. So let's get back. I want to back to this freedom of speech thing. I really want to get back on the whole thing with Elon Musk and Twitter. So I am very excited. I'm sorry, I gotta get on my other side. Yo, let's go, D. What up, coach? Yo, if you want to get in, coach, let me know. They ain't going to hear you on Instagram, but they need to come over to YouTube for that. Look, Elon buys Twitter. Now, I'm excited for this. You know why? And he said something very important that I think we all need to understand. He said something to the extent of, I want people who hate me to have a place where they can leave comments about how much they dislike me. That is awesome. That is so awesome. And I'm going to tell you something else. I'm going to say some shit right now, and people are going to be very upset. They're going to be like, Diva, hey, you didn't say that. But I'm going to say it. Here it is. The worst thing Twitter could have done was ban President Trump. Oh, my God. I'm about to get canceled. Every time, and I'm going to tell you why that was the worst thing. I'm going to tell you why. Because what people fail to realize is this. Everything sets precedent, right? So once you ban him, then you have to ban the next person. Now, a lot of people were for that because, you know, again, we were talking about people being woke and all this stuff. Everybody was all anti-Trump. And mind you, for everybody saying like, Diva, how can you say that? I'm actually a card-holding Democrat, but that's another story. But what's popping right now ain't it. But people did not want, you know, they was like, oh, you got to ban Trump. But this is the thing. Once we start banning people, we got to ban everybody. And that's what y'all don't realize. We got to ban everybody. You got to ban, we got to just start banning people, everybody. We got to ban everybody. Once you start banning people because you're like, oh, you don't like what they said, we got to ban everybody. Now, mind you, there's a difference between freedom of speech and threats. You're allowed to say, Diva, I don't like you. You suck. You're stupid. You're gay. You know, whatever. Most of that's probably true, right? But look, you're allowed to say that. What you're not allowed to do is say, Diva, I'm gonna come to your house and kill you. Yeah, well then, delete that cat's Twitter account. And if he want to come to my house and see me, I'm 2A all day, right? You can't selectively ban people. Yo, what's up, Mary? I see you over there. You can't selectively ban people. You either all in or you out. Yo, thank you for the badge, guys. Please support buy badges. I appreciate you, my Instagram fam, my YouTube, Facebook fam. Let's go. Do Work Podcast. Look, y'all can't be selective about this. Y'all can't be selective about it. Be consistent about it. That's one of my like principles. The do work method has all these steps and stages, but one of the things I talk about is consistency. You have to be consistent. So you can't be upset about abortion and then you weren't upset about mass or vice versa. And you're probably like, but Diva, this is different. This is a life. My choice. Just like it's your choice. And when everything was happening during the pandemic, one of the things I was trying to explain to people, but everybody was all in their feelings, was that you got to let people do them. Unless somebody's coming to your house, threatening your family, talking about they're going to kill you, your kids, your wife, whatever. If it ain't coming like that, they can call you every name in the book. They can say you suck. They can troll you and say you suck. Like, I'm here for it. Right? Do you? You want to be a troll? Do you? But you cannot ban people for having an opinion that's different than yours. You cannot. If people, another example, because this is ultimately what it's coming down to. Now, what's different is it's the flip side of it. So we're in a situation now where like they're trying to take away your right to choose. If people, if people want to do that, let them do that. The government should not be funding 5, 6, 7, 8 abortions because that's my tax dollars. Yo, Aunt, you crazy. Oh my God. If y'all don't know, I need everybody to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Y'all got to do that for me. Do Work Podcast on YouTube. All right, I'm back in. But guys, what you got to understand is once it starts, it doesn't stop. See, people only agree when it agrees with them. Now, I also want to point out to you, all this chaos is going on, and we're like, dealing with a war that allegedly we weren't supposed to get involved in, but we're clearly involved in it. We're like super involved because I don't know if y'all know, we just gave like a shit ton more money. So we're like super involved in a war that we weren't supposed to get involved in, which I'm for. Support Ukraine because they the little guy. The little guy don't deserve to get stomped out. That ain't cool. But here we are. That's right. Let them be great. Don't be afraid. Hop on them badges, y'all. So understand something. Once we start banning people, it's a wrap. Everybody gets banned. And you see it. And see, I don't even know if y'all caught it. And still, I haven't seen it as much. But remember, during the height of the pandemic, you're talking about censorship. Every time you said the word COVID, what happened to your post? That big old sticker came up. Every time. I think it still comes up. But we all say the vid now or the jab, so that doesn't happen. But you don't want people to start to censor you. You don't want people to take away your freedoms. And you don't want people to take away the freedoms of others just because their choices are not the same as yours. Because I promise you, it ends badly. History has proven to us that it ends badly. History has proven it ends badly. When people you lose the power to choose, it ends badly. We've seen it happen. Ask anyone who's grown up in a communist country, still exists in one, a dictatorship. It's bad. It never ends well. So it starts small with taking things away, like taking away a woman's right to choose, and then it turns into something else. It turns into something else. You don't want that. You don't want that. I'm telling you, I know I don't want it. Maybe some of y'all do want it. I did a video last week where I was talking about work ethic. And one of the things I said is maybe some people do want everything handed to them and they don't want to have to make choices and they don't want choices. Maybe like some people want that. I don't want that. Because the thing about choice and freedom is this. Once you give it up, you're not getting it back. You're not getting it back. Once you give up your freedom, once you give up your power, it is gone. You are not getting it back. So as we move into this next space, because I promise you, it's going to start with this and it's going to be something else. And you've seen it happen. You've seen it. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. You've seen it on both sides. Like, oh, this what we doing? Y'all, wow. We making it mandatory for everybody to get vaxxed? Okay. But what happened? Months later, they rolled it back. We making it mandatory for people to do this? And y'all know I've been traveling. I traveled all through the pandemic. And when we were on the planes, they were like, mandatory mask, blah, 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 blah. Cool, right? When I flew out last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever. I was in Houston. And I got on a plane and the pilot was like, masks are no longer mandatory. Just respect your neighbor. And all I'm thinking is, I've been saying this since 2020. Why couldn't we do that before? We make these rash decisions. What's up? We make these rash decisions. We tripping. Yo, it was last week. Yo, kills. I be forgetting. I travel so much half the time, I don't even know where I'm at. I don't. My wife teased me about that too, because I'm always like the other day. She's like, honey, that was yesterday. But anyway, back in. Roe versus Wade is huge. There are a lot of things that I feel have begun to set this country back. And for me, This would be one of them. I usually don't get super political because let me tell you this, I care, I don't care type thing. I just watch. I'm just watching. I'm watching things unfold. I'm watching who's making decisions. I'm like, oh, this is about to get really real. Okay. This is about to get really real. But y'all got to understand, if this goes back, it's about to get real nasty, real rap. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. One, for women's rights. Two, for human rights, for our rights as a country. And three, we're talking about a health crisis. We're talking about a health crisis. Women are going to start to do things that are probably not kosher if something happens. Like, again, I can see if the government was like, yo, you only getting one from us. We ain't funding this. But they like, no, we're going to go back to being illegal. You're going too far. You're going too far. Give people the right to choose. Give people the power of choice. And that's across the board on everything. I'm not selective with that. I'm really not. You can choose to be and do whatever you want. I just don't have to like it. And if I don't like it, I just won't bang with you. I won't associate with you. I won't hang with you. We'll never probably come in contact because we don't have like-minded things. But we cannot take away the power to choose. We cannot take away a woman's right to choose. Because if we're going to do that, then we have to find a way to deal with the men. So maybe it becomes, okay, woman gets pregnant, doesn't want to keep the child. We also find the man because they had unprotected sex. I don't know. Sounds stupid, right? Just as stupid as telling a woman that she don't get to make that choice. Look, two things. In the case of consensual intimacy, if y'all gonna be sleeping together and y'all not gonna be protected, y'all need to have them conversations. Because I know there's also been scenarios where people have had relations, and even though the dude had the accident, he like, yo, it was an accident, I gotta keep this. And the woman's like, I don't want it, and boom, we in an argument. So, new rules. If you out in these streets and you know you're having relations unprotected, part of that conversation needs to be, yo, sis, if you accidentally get knocked up, what we doing? But once a woman is pregnant, that's her responsibility for 9 months, physically, mentally, and emotionally. You do not get to tell her what to do. It is her choice. And if you don't like that, don't sleep with chicks unprotected. Don't. Be more cautious about your partners. Reading comments here. We as humans have come way too far to be set back like this. Desperate times will call for desperate measures. Unfortunately, it will be a sad day. Kills. I agree with you. It'll be a very sad day. I don't ever want it to come to that. But we see what happens when people get desperate. We see what happens when people feel like their back is against the wall. You've watched it. We've seen the riots. And I'm not just talking about the ones that happened after the Floyd case. We've seen the riots. When people feel pressured, they will react. You should always have the power to choose. See, I'm on here too long. I got to wrap this up. You should always have the power to choose. It's your choice. And this is across the board. A woman's body, yeah, it's her choice. A man's body, yeah, it's his choice. It is. As human beings, what we do and put in our body should be our choice, though we just went through a stint where some people didn't have a choice with what they did with their body. And it was wrong. It was wrong then. It's never right. So this is the thing, guys, before I sign off. Look, it's always your choice. You should always have a choice. Government should not tell you what to do or not do with your body in any capacity, And I'm talking about everything. Now, what they can do is say, we're not funding it. Why? Because that's their choice. And then you may say, but Diva, the government works for the people. They do. But hey, you elected who you elected, so here we are. You're right, Mary. Mary's over on Facebook. She said a lot of basement doctors will be performing dirty abortions, which will lead to a lot of sick and or dead women. I agree. It's a sad day. I hope that's not the case. So, parting words. 1, choose your partners wisely. Let's start there. 2, wrap it up. 3, how about we knock off the rape and incest so a lot of women won't be in this particular situation? And 4, you should always have a choice. You should always have a choice. All right, guys. That's it for tonight. I want to thank you for tuning into the Do Work Podcast. The Do Work Podcast is a weekly podcast where we discuss all things freedom of speech, positivity, ownership, and doing the work. And tonight was no different. This was one of those things also. Guys, you got to be willing to do the work. So remember, go over to divarichards.com. Subscribe to the newsletter. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, my Spotify, which is Do Work Podcast. Give me some stars. I'm trying to build it up, and I need y'all to help me get it popping. If you love this conversation, please make sure to share it with someone. You guys are amazing. Again, thank you for tuning in. Do Work Podcast, Diva Richards. Good night.